Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for joining, and let's start. So, as much as possible, please do keep your videos on and show your smiles so that the meeting is more interactive as we are speaking. So, please keep your videos on all through the meeting. Why do we have these meetings every week, typically at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, is to ensure that we are continuously learning. We are, discussing on business, on growth, and we are challenging each other for growth. That's one thing that an entrepreneur or a business owner always needs. Keep challenging to keep growing. So that's the idea behind having these meetings. And we focus mainly on the pathfinder stage of business. That is someone who's already started the business, but trying to find a path to growth. So that's the stage that we focus on. And these meetings started about 5 years back when three friends got together and we started asking questions to each other, started advising each other. So that's how it all started. We have a portal called BA Community, so you can enroll over there. We have a tool where you can set goals and you can track your goals and motivate yourself in growing. And today we'll be focusing on the individual, that is the business owner, and learn on how to help the individual or the business owner to grow. And we have a WhatsApp group where you can also post about your business, ask for referrals, connect with each other. So if you're not part of a group which is, free for all, please let me know. I'll add you into that group because usually in the social media, I give a group which is admin only posting. But if you've joined the meeting, that means you're serious about this. So please let me know. I'll add you into the other group. So today's topic is nourishing success, the intersection of health and entrepreneurship. So Mr. Manuel Tim Gnanasekharan was introduced to me by Theo Emmanuel, and I've interacted with him a couple of times in few meetings, and his main background is food research and food technology, and he's also worked in corporates. Now he is independently consulting, as an organization of his own. So he is have running his own organization where he is consulting food technology organizations in setting up their organizations in complete production line and more than that, I think Mr. Tim, you can explain. I don't know much about these things. So when I met him, and especially when I was talking to Theo, I said, "Can you ask Tim to help us with a diet plan for entrepreneurs? Because entrepreneurs are one, category of species who need the most amount of energy because there's so much of complication and sophistication that happens in our life." So I said, okay, can we get Tim, who's an expert in this, to speak about what should be our diet and how to keep our energies high, in our during our day and all that. So then he agreed. He very clearly said that he is not a nutritionist. He is not a person who actually is from the nutrition background, but he knows about food. So he said he'll combine these two things and try to give us the best advice and help us in how we can keep our energy levels high through the food that we take, through the diet that we have. So with that introduction, over to you. I request you to please share your screen and you can take over. Yeah,
Thank you, brother Thomas.
thank you.
Okay, is my screen visible to you all?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So thank you so much for Brother Thomas for having extended this invitation to me to be a part of this BGSM today's meeting, and I also welcome all the people who have joined today in today's evening meeting. So, Brother Thomas, I've already given a brief introduction about me. So today we are going to discuss about nourishing success, how health and entrepreneurship intersect together. So I'm Manuel Tim. I'm a food technologist, and I'm a founder and consultant of Edible Spectrum, which is a research consultancy firm based out of Chennai. Just to give you a brief about me, I'm a industrial food technologist, ventured into food research and development from 2020. And I work with a lot of food processing industries who want to develop sustainable process or product, or they want to come up with some solutions related to food processing or product development. My key area of expertise are into beverages, ready to eat food products, cooked, ready-to-cook products. And the current trend of the market is alternative snacks, with reduction in sugar, salt, and everything. And also, we work in sugar reduction and without, uh, limiting to that scope to alcohol reduction as well. So that is also a recent scope that we have started working on. So primarily, the edible spectrum's purpose is to innovate, nurture, and sustain food product that leaves a positive impact to the society. So we always want to create a product which leaves a positive impact to the society rather than creating a hassle and confusion among the consumers. So that is the main purpose behind the setup of this research consultancy firm itself. So moving on, before we jump in, I just want to give you a clear disclaimer that I'm not a practicing nutritionist or a diet counselor. Neither do I'm a trained dietitian, or I'm not here to promote any brand or a product for your information. And I'm not a health and fitness coach as well. So this may give you a question like, then why am I here today? Well, I'm here to connect the dots of my personal experience of this entrepreneurial journey and self-care when it comes for the diet for entrepreneurs. And I've also brought in some science-based evidences for the better self-care and for particularly for the entrepreneurs. So where did it all start? So if you look back at my childhood, I was not a healthy child from the beginning. So I was extremely obese, no control over my food, sedentary lifestyle, poor sleep habits, everything was poor with me. And when I was in early 30s, I never bothered about it. Starting from 2020, 2021, I had almost every year, I had series of infections that includes COVID, severe trouble with COVID, and 2022, again, some serious infections. 2023, then I started to realize that something is terribly wrong with me. At the age of almost 35, when I thought that there must be something wrong with my lifestyle, or something is wrong with what I eat, or something is wrong with me. So I wanted to, when I started this entrepreneurial journey, I wanted to revisit on my personal things before I started my professional life. So that is how it all began. So when I talk about this, I want you all to just quickly note down these questions if you have a pen and paper, or just keep this in mind because we are going to discuss about this later in our discussion time. How many of you have come across such situation in your life, or when did you realize that such realization is important, or what made you think that this journey towards health is very important? And have you ever attempted to identify the root cause of the problems that you had? If yes, you mention those identifications. If no, just think about it. Maybe after completion of the session, we'll have our group session on these things. So moving on, let's directly jump into the diet for self-care in entrepreneurship. So I want the sessions to be interactive much. So considering the time constraints, I'll quickly ask some questions. I want an immediate response that will help us to run through the slides much more efficiently. So when it comes to food or a common diet, what are the key constructs or what are the elements that we eat every day? Quick answers.
You're asking currently, or you're asking ideal?
On a daily current day-to-day basis, what are the elements that constructs your food?
Carbohydrates, fat and protein.
Carbohydrates, very good. Fat and protein. Right. Yeah. Any more answers?
Sugar.
Sugars.
What was the question again?
So what are the key constructs of your diet?
I try to do my best, but of course there are a lot of things people consume every day is really bad. Refined oil, carbohydrates, cornstarch, corn oil.
Okay, good.
Saturated fatty acids, and probably even trans fat, all the lifestyle.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the answers. So I just put everything combined together in the next slide. So as you all said, all these elements have been grouped into these 6: carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Those are called as macronutrients, fiber, minerals, which is your micronutrient, and water. As you all know, that's the elixir of your life. So these are the basic elements which comes into your diet. Whatever diet that you follow, whatever food that you take, or whatever edible matter that you take. These are the common construct that comes into picture. Now, having said that, now I want you to answer me. What are the different diets that you all followed or you heard of? Every year there have been a lot of diet trends, starting from keto, starting from paleo. Now there is a different trend going on. So just tell me what are the diets you have all heard about, or if somebody have a personal experience in following such diets, just can I get some answers on that?
Keto, paleo, vegan, Mediterranean.
Okay.
Mediterranean diet is a new funda now.
Suresh, you've tried all of them, is it?
I hear, I never follow. You can see me how chubby I am.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much for it. So I, as a food technologist, as I said, that I'm not an experienced dietitian, but people tend to ask us about the best diet practice for a healthier lifestyle. So being a food technologist into the research and development, we always go through certain guidelines as per how the nutrition should be delivered to the consumers. So in Indian market scenario, or for the Indian consumers, we follow ICMR guidelines, which is through the National Institute of Nutrition, from the WHO's, World Health Organization's recommendation. We always go with a practice called as balanced diet. So have you all heard this term balanced diet? Is that ringing somewhere? Right from the childhood, isn't it? So maybe from 4th or 5th standard, we've all been talking about balanced diet. But later, as we all started studying rocket science, we completely forgot about this balanced diet and moved on to a lot of new advanced diet patterns, right? So we, in the research and development of food products, we always tend to work with the guidelines. And that is one of the key success of a lot of products in the Indian food market. So that is what I'm going to talk to you all about. So how this balanced diet is very important. There are 5 particular reasons I have identified. One is this balanced diet is a sustainable process where you don't have to discontinue this diet at a particular time and then you follow something else. This comes all through your lifetime. It covers almost every vital nutrient that is needed for a human.
Yeah, I think there is a connection issue, so let's give a minute or so.
Is Manuel Tim a manufacturer?
Hello.
No, he's a consultant for manufacturers. He consults manufacturers. Yeah. Tim, you'll have to repeat again. We lost you for a minute.
We lost you for about 30-40 seconds. Yeah. Well, there seems to be some problem. Okay.
Yeah. We'll just give him a minute. Yeah. Repeat.
The importance of balanced diet is that it covers versatility. When you take about different diet plans that you all have, this balanced diet can be fit in every occasion. So let's just discuss all those things in detail in the later stage. Now I just want to ask you, or you can just type me in the chat box, what is your perspective about balanced diet? What is balanced diet from your perspective? Just quickly type in the chat box so that I can get some answers. Okay. Carbs, protein, right. Okay. So this happened that one day when I started this balanced diet, whole grains, protein sources, protein, fat, and carbs. Great. Very good. So based on lifestyle, as Brother Thomas said. This happened to me that one day when I had certain protein goals to complete every day on a daily basis. My mother told me that I'm doing a total wrong approach for a dieting pattern, and particularly she explained to me that it has to be on a balanced diet approach. And only then I realized I even didn't educate my mother about balanced diet. Then how will this society or my friends can know much more about balanced diet? So that is what everybody believes, that having everything together as a combination, we say that it's a balanced diet. Is it all? Is it right? So that's what it's a basic understanding. Brother, next slide, please. So how many of you have seen this pyramid from our 4th and 5th standard in school? Right. So this is the balanced diet pyramid, right? So starting from your adequate consumption to the sparing consumption, it includes all your cereals, veggies and greens, fruits, meat, and starches and unhealthy fats and fats. So these are to be taken in certain ratios. And that ratio is called as a balanced diet, right? So we have carbohydrate, we have protein, we have fiber, fat, vitamins, and minerals. So all these components have to be taken in certain ratios, and only then it is called as a balanced diet. So somebody told me about sugar. Sugar is classified as a carbohydrate. Proteins, as we all know, fiber, fat, any of your PUFAs or MUFAs or your saturated fat, everything is classified as fat. And all your micronutrients, so your vitamins, your minerals, and everything is classified as vitamins and minerals. And everything needs to be consumed in certain ratios. And that is what we are going to see in the next slide. Right. So this slide is a guideline from National Institute of Nutrition, again, a recommended daily allowance for Indian consumers. When you consider a sedentary lifestyle or moderate activity lifestyle or heavy lifestyle, you have a guideline from the NIN. So if a person is sedentary in their activity, a normal person needs at least 2,300 calories per day to make a self-sufficient living, which is also referred as BMR. How many of you have heard the term BMR? Basal metabolic rate, right? So this basal metabolic rate, if you have not come across, please note down, you have to identify the basal metabolic rate for your body. To identify what is your calorie that is required, even though you don't do any work, but your body to function, your heart should function, your lungs should function. So for that basic requirement, how many calories is needed by your body? So based on that, coming to the first element, carbohydrate, on a balanced diet perspective, 50 to 60% of your daily calories must come from carbohydrate. So on an average, if you say 55%, this 55% must come from a complex carbohydrate source. So can you go to the next slide? I have given a detail here about different sources of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be classified into simple and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are your plain polished white rice, your sorghos, poha, and all those white sugar, jaggery, and honey. Complex carbohydrates are your millets, whole grain cereals, minimally processed grains, and legumes and plant sources. Now, when I say 50 to 55% of your carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are your energy source, 50% of your calories, daily requirement, should come from this complex carbohydrates. So when I say complex carbohydrates, you need not avoid any of the things on the left-hand side. You should also have it, but majority of the portion should come from the complex sources. Same wise, brother, the previous slide. Protein, if you take, 10 to 15% of your daily requirements must come from protein, be it an animal source or plant source. It must come from 10 to 15% must come from proteins. So the next slide also shows how are the healthy protein sources can be taken in our day-to-day lives. So there are lean sources and there are sources that include fat. Lean sources are your chicken breast to some extent that we don't have much fat in it. Your fish, egg whites, legumes, soy products. When I say soy products, it's not just alone the soybeans. You have texturized vegetable proteins, all your meal makers and the recent vegan meats, that is, it's a soy product, byproduct, and green peas. These are all considered as lean sources of protein. And fat sources, on the other hand, your other meat sources like your beef, mutton, and everything that includes all the other meat sources, whole eggs in common. So some people argue that only white egg has the most protein. It's actually a wrong claim. On the whole egg gives you 6.4 grams of protein, whereas your white gives you only 4 grams of protein. But you have fat in the whole egg. Cheese, paneer, and skyr. Cheese, if you know that, it combines protein and fat together. So it is our choice to see which source that we have to choose for our diet. On the other hand, brother, the previous slide. Coming to fats, fat plays a major role because some people say that the fat is not good for health. No, please don't take that perspective. It all depends upon our health, our lifestyle, our health condition majorly. Some, physician advice to some conditions of heart, we may have to avoid certain fat, but on the whole, you shouldn't completely say that the fat is bad. Fat is needed by the body to do our essential activities on a day-to-day basis. So 15 to 20% of our calories must come from good sources of fat. When I say good sources of fat, the fat is classified as saturated and unsaturated fats. All those saturated fats, in a simple term, we can say any fat that is getting solidified at a room temperature. Let's say your coconut oil, your ghee, vanaspatis. So those fats are saturated in nature. But the good source of fat comes from the unsaturated source of fats. So unsaturated source of fats I've given sesame oil, rice bran oil, groundnut oil, olive oil, and all those oils are very good source of unsaturated. And also your fish, if you consider fish as a good source of protein, it also delivers you a good source of unsaturated fats too. So a lot of people ask me about how the oil should be consumed at a household. Is it a combination or is it just we stick to one particular oil? We have a guidance beautifully given from ICMR. All your fats must be mixed to give you a ratio of your polyunsaturated fat is to the saturated fat. Because you completely cannot ignore saturated fat or you completely cannot take unsaturated fat. There must be a balanced ratio between it. So that is why they give you this combination. With groundnut oil or sesame oil, rice bran oil, it is good to add mustard oil in certain ratios. The same oils with canola oil, the same applies with soybean oil. Suppose there is an instance that you need to use palm oil, it is good that you blend that with soybean oil. On a regular basis, if you're going with sunflower or safflower, you can also combine that with mustard oil to ensure that the ratio between good and bad or good source of fat is to the saturated source of fat. To establish that balanced ratio, you can combine this. Coming to the dietary fiber, that is a common term that the dietary fiber comes from only from the vegetables or fruits. No, it also comes adequately from your legumes, from your whole grains and pulses and everything. So this fiber sources is very, very, very important when you particularly take this diet as a part of your life being. This gives you a complete satiety even with a very less quantity. And that also gives you a time to digest the food that you've taken. So this gives you a satiety for a period of time. So you don't go that hunger when you combine your meal with a good source of dietary fiber. So this worked really well with me. Every meal that I take, I combine with some sort of a fiber. Either I take a cabbage salad or I ask my mother to make some spinach, or sometimes if it is night time that I just want to skip my dinner, I just go, I slice some cabbage, I slice some carrots, I add some fruits to it. I take a full bowl of it till morning. You trust me, the term hunger never appears to me at all because this fiber gives you that fullness. And at least 30 to 40 grams of this fiber is essential for your day-to-day activity. So please do include that. And brother, the next slide, please.
Yeah, we are running short of time, so I think we'll have to conclude with this and give someone else an opportunity to ask questions. We are
Sure,
almost
sure.
through.
Then that'll be great. Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
then we'll stop from here, and then maybe in the next session we can see.
Yes. So if
So
anyone has any
let's open our
questions, yeah.
discussions. Yes.
Yeah. So I had a question. So are you saying that we should not have rice?
I'm not saying that. I'm
We
saying that
should.
rice is a polished source. It gives you a simple sugar.
Okay.
Just combine that with a complex network. So probably if you're having rice today, why don't you just go for a millet tomorrow?
Okay.
Or
Got
the
it.
next meal, why don't you try some food with millets?
Understood.
Or reduce your rice quantity, increase your dietary fiber.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why
Suresh,
it is so tough to conquer our tongue? See, I really want to look good. There is no two ways about it. I really want to look good because, see, I'm in a profession where my attire and my personality can give me an edge over others in my profession. But still, I'm getting defeated every single meal in my mouth. I mean, the battle between my mouth and my brain, my gut is not that strong enough to fight it over with my tongue. So, can you give me any practical solution? Because see, I really wanted to change the way I eat and have to bring in some kind of. I'm a very disciplined guy. My desk is very organized. My laptop is very organized. I know things and do. I'm a very well organized guy. This is the one area where I lack. I'm completely indisciplined. So if you can help me out, it'll be very big, and I'll be very grateful for you.
I hope I can definitely help you on that, sir, because I can share my personal experiences. Maybe you can take my number, we can chat, and I can give you a guidance on how to completely avoid that the need for hunger. Because initially, when I started this dieting and my health journey, it was very difficult for me to first cope up for the first month. But trust me, from the first month, it's almost going to be 1 year and 8, 9 months now. There is no point a day where I have gone hunger because of this system. The reason being, everything I plan, like how you have organized your desk and you organized your day. My diet is very well organized in every part. Suppose I'm just giving you an example. Suppose if I'm having a dinner tonight with my friends, some social gathering, which I cannot avoid. My next slides actually gives you some guidelines on it, but we'll discuss that later. You have to go for a dinner tonight.
Thomas, can you share the slides on the WhatsApp? It will be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I will do that. Or do you want me to? Should I do that, or do you want me to set up one more meeting so that he can take further?
That would be great. That would be really great. Yeah, I can please fix it. Yeah.
I think we'll have one more meeting. That will be better. It will be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to that. Yes. So you really have to. I mean, what I do particularly tomorrow night, if I have to have a good dinner with my friends, I start my diet from today. I plan my diet from today. I start my calories from today. I start counting every food that I take from today evening itself. So I start restricting my carbs. I start restricting my fats because I'm going to have a good dinner tomorrow. When I say good dinner, I don't jump in and thrash everything on the table. Doesn't happen that way. But what happens is I maintain the discipline of maintaining that balance of nutrition for that particular day. If it is supposed to be 1,900 calories for my BMR, I ensure that I don't go beyond the 1,900, and I ensure that I cover all the vital nutrition through something else. So when I say vitamins and minerals have to be balanced, from the morning I take a good source of fruits. Then if a fiber needs to be taken, I eat a bowl of spinach. And this helped me a lot. This discipline of planning my diet helped me a lot in organizing this healthy way. I'm still in progress. I have not completely succeeded my goal. I'm still in progress. I'm yet to achieve my target weight. But this gave me a confidence that I'm definitely going to achieve that in the period that which I have planned. Meanwhile, there are a lot of distractions might come through in between. There are a lot of times that you have to compromise your dieting pattern or thing. But what you have to do is that you need to plan well in advance about how you're going to do that. That planning efficiently helps you to overcome that, sir.
Yeah, so let's conclude
Yeah,
now.
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
So we'll
Thank you
do
so
this
much.
session continue from here. Maybe the coming week or the week after we'll plan together, based on the time schedule available, and we'll continue
Sure.
from here. Definitely, I would like you to cover for an entrepreneur who has to have high energy all through the day, but at the same time should not have a pot belly. So, maybe that can
Correct.
be your topic that you can take up in the next meeting. So let's conclude
Sure.
now. Thank you very much. It was an awesome
Only
session.
one more question. Only one more question. Sorry, Thomas.
This is a free
If I
meeting,
already
Yes,
have
so
a
you get
pot
over
belly,
soon.
if I already have a pot belly, is it possible to reduce it only by diet?
And I would directly say no to it.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so so
Right.
please invite your friends for the upcoming meetings. I'll share the details, and if any of you are interested, we are also sharing a link in the group every week. So if you are interested, you would like to share something, please, fill up that form, and I'll be in touch with you to schedule the date and time. And although you may say the date and time, but it may clash with something, so I'll discuss with you and schedule a date and time. And the books that I recommend. And if you need books on any specific topic, the person you need to go to is Mr. Suresh. He is actually a coach, and he reads about 50 plus books every year. And he keeps putting summaries also. You can follow that
Sir,
in the group
100,
also.
sir. Sir,
100. I'm
100, sir.
sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So thank you very much. And yeah, so please post your questions in the group also. Any questions you have, so we can answer. So Tim is now there in the group. So you can, talk to him in the group also. So Tim, you can just introduce yourself, little background in the group also, so that
Sure.
others know
Yeah,
about it
I'll do
and they
that.
can get in touch with you. Thank you
I'll
all
definitely do
very
that.
much.
Yes.
It was a
Thank you. Thank you
wonderful
so
time.
much.
Have a great
Thanks a
week
lot.
ahead.
Yeah.
Good night. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Sir,
Thank
super
you.
session, sir. Super session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.